What's up? Tony Crest here, sitting here with the TRX Rip Trainer, and I'm going to show you a few things that you can do with this thing that really activates the core musculature and really activates a lot of those stabilizers, a lot of stuff that we kind of neglect when we're thinking about abs and that sort of thing. So a lot of people won't have the Rip Trainer. It's relatively new as far as like commercial recognition goes, but it's an amazing piece of equipment, and as you can see, it's got a little resistance on the end of this. This resistance comes in different resistance levels, from light to extra heavy. But for some of the purposes, most gyms won't have this yet. But for some of the purposes, you can actually do something like this with one of your cable crossover machines or something like that at the gym. So what I'm going to show you is something that has to do with rotation. So I'm going to start facing, what's this called? Perpendicular to the Rip Trainer. And what I'm going to do is have an overhand grip here and underhand grip here. One thing you can do is you can use like a handle or a cable pulley. Or some gyms will actually have an attachment that is a bar like this that will attach to the cable. But for those purposes, what we're going to do is talk about rotation. So I'm going to start parallel to the Rip Trainer, and what I'm going to do is rotate my hips and pivot my hips so they are in line this way with the Rip Trainer. And you can do that same thing with the anchor point and the base of a cable as well. But for the purposes of this movement, I want to move that resistance in a rotational direction away from the anchor point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back with this arm, and I'm going to push out with this arm as I rotate my hips square to this other wall over here. So what most people forget is actually rotating the hips. So what you'll see people do is they'll think, okay, well, I've got this cable or this resistance, and I just need to get that out in front of me here, right? I get it out in front of me, and that's great, but we're not actually engaging the core as much as we should be engaging it. So what we're going to do is focus on that rotation, that pivot of that back foot, to get that rotation that we need. So instead of focusing on this as our mover, we're going to focus on the hips as our mover. And we can lock this into place, so as we turn those hips, this starts to move, and then we follow through with it. So when we turn those hips, this starts to move, I pull this back, push that forward, and now we've got a lot of core activation, even with that upper body activation in the arms, the triceps, the biceps, etc. So when I do this movement, I don't forget about that back pivot foot, I don't forget about that hip rotation. So when we do this in real time, we can do this for a tempo, or we can do this for speed. So if I go 2-2 tempo, I can turn 1, 2, and back, 1, 2. I can go 1, 2, make sure those hips are rotated, 1, 2. We want to do the same thing, but now for speed, we rotate those hips and extend, and rotate those hips and extend. Rotate the hips first, then extend, hips first, then extend. So now we're actually turning on and engaging more of that core than we were had we thought about the actual piece of resistance first. So take that with you to the gym, and don't think about just moving the piece. Think about what your body's doing in relationship to the piece and to the anchor point, and that will actually get you more core activation than previously you had doing your exercises not as efficient. That's that, TonyCrest.com. We'll see you later.